Photography is the art of capturing light and manipulating light, and videography is just the same thing, just some motion thrown in. It's pretty much all there really is to it. There's a lot of details, there's a lot of bits and pieces, but really capturing and manipulating light. And with that in mind, if you're into either of those two fields, eventually you're going to realize you need more lights. You need big lights, you need powerful lights, you need soft lights, you need hard lights, you need colored lights. Forget about stands and modifiers. You just need lights. There's always more need for lights, and it never ever ends. Trust me. It's lenses, cameras, lights. These are the things that we accumulate, piles of them, which is where today's video comes in. This right here is the Ulanzi Light Wand. It's also called the Ice Light. It's also called the Eye Light, depending where on the body you look or where on the packaging. It's got a bunch of names. It is quite a useful and powerful little tool, given the fact that it's incredibly inexpensive. So why don't we take a look at what's in the box? I'll run you through how the menu works, all that sort of stuff, and we'll come back, we'll talk about where I think this fits into the ecosystem and who this really shines for. See you down there. Alright, so this is the box that the Ulanzi Eye Light Pocket Ice Light RGB version comes in. Yeah, it's a box. It holds things. It does the job. On the side, it's going to let you know a little bit of information about it, some of which, specifically this 2500 to 900K light temperature, should be taken with a grain of salt, of course. And on the back, yeah, you're sort of all... yeah, your usual sort of stuff. On the inside there, you will get, not a lot, you'll get a fairly decent length USB-C charging cable, a manual in both Chinese and English. Let's see what side we're on. There's the English side. And if you flip it open, lots of tiny writing about how to use it. Oh, that's the wrong side. Let's move to that side. Oh, there we go. No, where is the right side? There it is. There's the right side. All sorts of information about how to use it, and the most interesting part right here is the specification. Again, tiny little writing. Lets you know that it runs on 3.7 at the maximum volt wattage of 6. It's got a USB-C charge port. The angle beam is 120 degrees, and it has a built-in battery capacity of 200 milliamp hour. They're claiming 700 lux at 0.3 meters, so not the hugest amount of light, but enough for a lot of applications. On top of that, charging time 2.5 hours roughly to fully charge this device up. Let's put the manual to the side. It's not that important. Let's actually look at the device. We'll move the coffee just a little bit. Here it is. It is a nice, solid little unit. Given the price of this, which I think for me was about $37, it's fairly well made. This is not metal. It is a heavy-duty plastic. Got your branding there. Right there, we've got a little handy little color wheel with the degrees printed right on it. So if you're not used to the color wheel and you just want to dial in a specific color, you can refer to that if you want to. On this side, your screen, your controls, your charging port, and a pair of heavy-duty magnets if you want to clip this to a shelf or anything metal that you want to. Around to this side, again, that information, 6 watts, 200 milliamp hour battery, and all that sort of stuff. On either end, there is a 1/4 inch mounting point, both matched. So two things you can do with this. You can actually attach it to any sort of standardized camera gear. 1/4 inch is a fairly common thread, so you can attach it to that and angle it or get it to whatever position that you need to mount it if the magnets aren't doing the job. Also, there are little 1/4 inch to 1/4 inch adapters. You could actually get a number of these and link them together. You could have different colors or whatever. You can make a wand out of them if you want to do some light painting or that sort of thing. Lots of little options there. I should also point out that there is a longer version of this. I think it's about, fingers in the camera, it's about that long. I chose the smaller version because it's just a little bit more convenient for my usage. Let's move back to the screen and the menu. There are 4 buttons here, and it takes a little while to get used to them. They got a fairly unique way of dealing with things. Long press to turn it on, long press to turn it off. That's your power button right there. So long press, and it comes on. As you can see, there's my light, and you can see the screen, and we are in RGB mode right now. It's got your battery there, you got your H, your S, and then it's weird. It's HSB, but it actually is numbers, or no, sorry, letter, and then a little star sign, sun sign. It's weird. If you want to move between those, just use this one. No, this one, sorry. See how I get confused. Use the mode button to select which one you want to adjust. So right now, our hue is at 56. So we go back there, 56 is going to be somewhere down there. So orange to yellow, and as you can see, that's pretty correct. Let's go back to the H we've highlighted, and now we can use the up or down to change that. I don't know if you can see that on the screen, but it's all the way up to 104, which brings us up to closer to there. And through blue, and through all the colors. Use the mode again to go to the saturation, currently at 98. We can bring this all the way up, quite purple, and we can saturate it or desaturate it all the way down if we want. Currently at 8, so it's almost white, just a little bit of purple. And again, click the mode button, bring us down to the brightness. It's at 100% brightness there. We can bring that all the way down, make that quite dim if we want. And that's your basic RGB function. You got the 3, the hue, the saturation, and your brightness, and just cycle through them till you get what you need, what matches whatever you're using. If you want to switch something else, click the power button, and you go into the scene mode. Then you get a bunch of different preset effects. This one currently is Cop Car, and underneath, the only control you've got is the brightness. So you can go all the way up or all the way down, wherever you want with brightness. If you want to switch things, use the mode selection, jump to Cop Car, and now I can cycle through. This is HSI Fast. Again, we can only adjust the brightness, and it's just going to cycle through colors. Again, HSI Slow. We have Blue Flash. Again, only brightness is adjustable. Whoops. Green Flash. Red Flash. HL Beam, which is basically a high-low beam. I'm not sure what that's all about. Emergency lights. Paparazzi. Someone's taking lots of pictures there. RGB strobe. It's regular strobe. Pulsing. Which again, let's go back to pulsing, and if I click down, again, all I can control is that brightness, nothing else. Strobe. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Where are we going? Back to Cop Car. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the effects versions. If I click the fire button, or not the fire button, the power button again, we go into the CCT, so we can adjust our color temperature and our brightness. That's pretty much it. Color temperature is currently set to 9,000, and I can dial this all the way down, make this much, much cooler if I want, and I can adjust my intensity. Click that again, back to the RGB. So RGB, scene, which is effects, and then color temperature for your basic white light in whatever format you want. If you want to turn this off, long press. And that's pretty much it. There's not a lot else to get into with the menu. It's very, very straightforward. It is fiddly. You will, as you've seen, I've been using this for a month or two now, and I still forget every time I pick it up exactly what the buttons do. But it's very, very intuitive over time to figure out and remind yourself what buttons do what. It's very small. It's quite lightweight. It lasts a decent amount of time in terms of the power, no matter what you're doing. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Let's go back up top. Let's talk a little bit more about potential use cases and where I think that something like this really does, pardon the pun, shine. See you up there. And so that was the Ulanzi Ice Light or iLight or iWand or whatever you want to call it. It's a stick light. It's a little tiny pocket portable powered illuminator. Let's call it that. It's an illuminator. Look, my mother used to say to me that I had champagne tastes with a beer budget. She said this about a lot of things, but it's definitely true, and I think it's very, very common for many of us when we get into content creation, whether you're a photographer, a filmmaker, a YouTuber, whatever you're doing, there's a tendency to want the best. We look out in the world, we watch lots of reviews, we see the fanciest stuff, and we get obsessed with the metrics. We get obsessed with the numbers of things and how accurate they are and how well they perform. And that's fine. That's fine. It's good to have dreams, and it's good to have high standards with things. You want to make the best content that you can, so you want the best tools to do that. However, sometimes bang for buck is not always what it seems. I have other lights. I have great lights. In fact, I have a very, very small light right here. This is an aperture light. In fact, let's jump back down the table very, very quickly. Let's compare these just quickly. Comparing something like this to a much more expensive product is not really a fair comparison, but just for the sake of argument, let me just bring in my Aputure. This is an Aputure MC. I've got about 6 of these. They cost about $150 each. The body is made of a lightweight but solid aluminum. They've got one mounting point there, and that's it. Magnets on the back. The difference between this and this, aside from the obvious difference of form factor, I should also point out that this comes with a built-in reflector that goes over the top to soften the light, where this is pretty much what it is, with no way to adjust this. The other obvious differences between this is that this has a lot more power, a lot more output. It also has app controls that you can adjust and control from the distance, and you can match it to other lights if you need to using the app. But also on top of that, the output, the color temperatures, the hue colors on this are going to be a lot more accurate, a lot more precise than this. If you're using these in conjunction with other lights or in a professional environment where you absolutely must have accuracy, then yes, $150 for one of these, it's a steal. It's definitely the way to go. But if you are in a less strict environment, shall we say, or you're working by yourself, or you're looking to save a few bucks, maybe you're not working in a pro environment yet, this actually does the job quite well, even if it's not 100% accurate. So as you see in the comparison, the Aputure actually on paper looks like a much better light. Now I've got 4 or 5 of these. I've been using them for years. They have been beaten, they've been dropped, they've been kicked around, they've been in all sorts of situations, and they still stand the test of time. I think they look great. I think they perform great. They have great solid build. I really, really do like these quite a bit. But as I said, these are about $150 each. The screen, the display screen on the side, is starting to go on all of them. It's not a problem because I can connect via the app with these ones, where the Ulanzi I can't. And I can set all my features and my functions and my color as a group if I want to, and that's kind of cool, which I can't do with Ulanzi. But this is quite an investment, and it is, at the core of it, a disposable device. There's no way to change batteries or anything in here, so eventually the screen will go completely, the battery will die, and this will just be garbage. It'll be done. There's no repairs possible with something like this. 4 of those times 150, that's a hefty investment to just use up and throw away. Whereas, you know, $20 American, 37 Australian, depends where you are in the world. This is a lot less of an investment. However, it performs very, very closely. The output is a little bit better in this, but these aren't main lights. These aren't like, this is a big light lighting me. There's a big light in the back. You can see it on the chair. You know, these aren't meant to perform that kind of function. You wouldn't use them for that. You use them for small things. You use them for spotlights. You use them to put in a scene. Say someone is using a laptop on a couch. You could actually throw this in there. Don't even have to turn the laptop on, and dial in the right amount of illumination for your scene. It looks like they're actually using it. Put it in a fridge so that when the fridge opens or a cupboard opens, a light spills out. That sort of thing. These are not meant to be key lights or main lights, and they do perform very, very well for that. As I said a few times now, accuracy is not their forte. I can tell you for a fact, even with the color wheel, when it should be yellow, it's coming up green. When it should be blue, it's coming up purple. It's all off just a little bit, and I'm assuming the color temperatures are just about as much off. I haven't actually accurately measured how far out off they are, but they don't match other devices that I know are accurate. That doesn't matter. You just dial it into where it's right, forget about the numbers, and use it. Same with the colors. You dial it into you have the right color. Does it matter that the number doesn't match this number? No. Especially if I'm not using it in conjunction with that, and if I am, I'm usually going for contrast, blue versus yellow or something like that. So I'm going the other side anyway. It doesn't really matter that it's not accurate. It doesn't really matter that it's not that durable. It is incredibly functional for what it is, but most importantly, it's damn cheap for what it does. And that is a key selling point. I want to urge most of you who are content creators, whatever level you are out there, to not bypass things that are of this level, of this quality and this price point, because they are incredibly useful tools. Now, would I feel the same if I was using this as a key light? No. If I had a bigger light from them that was providing the function of this light right here, and I had to mix it with other lights, I'd have some issues, I'd have some concerns. But for something small like this, there are a ton of uses. And let me just quickly slide to a different tangent here. I often and have been talking about content creators, whether you're a photographer or a YouTuber, an independent filmmaker. There are tons of places where this really, really shines. But there is also that step just below that. You're not really a content creator, but you've got an Instagram channel and you like to take pictures and show things off on Instagram. Just things you found, things you bought, things you get given, whatever your hobby is, whatever your interest is. This is something that really, really shines in that space because you're getting a very, very high quality product for an incredibly low price. And if you're not looking at buying great big lights, fancy cameras, expensive microphones, if you're not an actual full-time content creator, that's not your job title, you just want to make your pictures look good, you don't want to spend $150, maybe 2 times that, 3 if you want a couple more, whereas for $37, $20, double that for 2, lightweight, easy to carry in your bag. Set something up on the beach. The background is beautiful. You expose for the background. Your device is too dark, or your subject is too dark. Throw this in front of it. Throw it off to the side, and just add a little spill of light just to bring it out, to make it pop. If the lighting is actually good, you can throw this behind it just to give it a splash of color in the scene. All sorts of things that you can play with. It will open up a whole new realm of exploration when it comes to photography. Just playing with one colored light in and amongst all the other stuff that you normally do really can make your work shine a lot more. The key to photography, the key to videography is the manipulation and mastering of light, and it doesn't really come into play with lenses or cameras or all the other gear that we get. The most important part that we can think about is the light gear that we have, and this is a great place to start. It's also a great way to augment your existing kit. Even if I was working on a professional set, I'd probably want to throw like a dozen of these in a bag and just carry them with me, because they do come in handy so many different situations. And again, for that price point, use it, and when it dies, I'm not feeling bad. I'm already dreading the day that these die, just because I've invested in them. This, if I lose it, if I damage it, if it gets broken in a shoot, I'll get another one. They're $30. Anyway, I've shared everything I need to, everything I can with you. I hope this has been interesting. I hope this has been illuminating. We're trying to add more videos of this sort on the channel. So if you do like what you've seen, please click some of those buttons below. I'm not going to go through the whole spiel. There's a whole bunch of them there. It doesn't matter which one it is. Just randomly click some stuff, and I will catch you next time for another video of some sort. Maybe it'll be coffee next time. I think we'll do coffee next week. Thanks a lot. Stay creative.